From Relay, this is Connected, episode 518. Today's show is brought to you by Ecamm, Squarespace, 1Password Extended Access Management, and Backblaze. I'm Federico Vitici, and it's my pleasure to introduce Keynote Chairman Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello. I look forward to retaining my title today, right?
Yeah, you
Maybe.
do. I bet you do.
We'll
I
see.
Bet you do. Yes.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
I am pleased to announce the attendance of this at this recording of annual chairman Mike Hurley.
I love it. That was great. Thank
Fell
you
a part
so
of me
much.
big time.
I'm really
Thank
happy.
you.
I'm really happy to be here. As always, and I always like these episodes. These are good episodes, and here we are. We have follow up. What is the follow up?
Follow up. We mostly have follow up about show questions. Like I don't know
The best ones, okay.
Don't know how to say that otherwise. Ben wrote in, listener Ben, I've listened to your show for years and I've never thought about where your opening title music comes from. Why did you choose this classical piece?
So this piece is Beethoven Symphony Number 1, Fourth Movement. In case for all you Apple Music classical heads out there, the classic heads, they can go check it out. It's not just the theme song for a podcast. We'd like to thank Beethoven for composing our theme song.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Friend of the show,
Yeah.
Beethoven. It's not the one you think. No, it is the one you think about. It is the Beethoven. So our previous show, The Prompt, which had a piece of music composed by another famed composer, Stephen Hackett, which was just all techno. Because that's, if you ask Stephen to make you music for a podcast, it will be some form of techno. It had like all kinds of voiceover and all that kind of stuff. It was aggressive but fun.
Welcome to The Prompt, a weekly panel discussion on technology and the culture surrounding Apple and related companies.
But over that time, we started calling our show the world's greatest podcast, which was obvious. Everybody knows
still
it.
Is. Everybody
still
knows,
is.
yeah.
And when we started Connected, we wanted to embody the world's greatest podcast by being above everybody else. And we thought, what better way than classical music to do that? And it sets everyone in the right mood,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every episode's a classic, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I like that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good.
We also had some people ask, a few people actually, via the feedback form, where does the name The Rickies come from anyway? Why are the risky picks and the game called that? So I did some digging today. I was trying to find this answer, and I should have just gone immediately to rickies.net because it's actually there. So I want to thank Jason of rickies.net for putting that on there. It's a quote from the page, which I put in the show notes. In episode 245, Stephen mentions accidentally sending the word Ricky instead of risky in an iMessage thread, which ends up in being a major shift in branding for the Connected Predictions game. Because then we decided to call them the Rickies, and then everything else like the Jeremies, the Annies, the EUEs, all of these have come from that one autocorrect failure. That occurred.
Yeah, a rare typo by Stephen, which of course was important enough to celebrate the occasion.
And it's worth noting, because we got this a little bit confused over time, but I figured we could just say it now. The game is called the Rickies. The final round is called the Risky Pick. Because for a while we were calling them Ricky Picks, which was confusing. Because technically they're all Ricky Picks, because it's the Rickies.
Yes.
But the final round, they are the Risky Picks.
Yeah.
And now we have the Rickies.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what was announced a little bit later on in the episode, kind of hardware-wise. But one of the things they spoke about, one of the things they didn't talk about during the event, the Glowtime event, was when all of the OS releases were going to drop, but it was confirmed afterwards, I think via press release, that everything's dropping Monday, right? So this is iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, macOS. I don't know about visionOS too, but I'm expecting
visionOS too.
That it will. So everything's dropping Monday, which is, by the way, Apple, great. Like, this is what should happen, right? Like, if you're going to do annual releases, I know it's hard, but have them come out at the same time because, we've all been in this scenario. September, you update your phone, and then none of your messages look right until the middle of October on your Mac because that's when they update that. So this will come in Monday. So, Federico, you feeling good about Monday?
I'm feeling very good. The review is done. I am finalizing the screenshots. I have screenshots left to do for one chapter. I have some videos like screen recordings and a video left to do, but the review has been done for a few days. I sent you guys a draft today.
Yep. Very excited.
Teased on Mastodon that this year's review is going to be very different. You guys now know why. It's both obviously stylistically different. It's I think the way that I've been thinking about it in my mind is that it's my most personal review ever, and that hopefully will make sense when you read it, and it'll make sense for people on Monday. I'm very proud of this story, especially the conclusion. It's, like I said, very personal. And I'm also very excited about everything else surrounding the review. What is it going to look like on Mac Stories, and sort of the surprise for this year is something that I've never done before. And it's been killing me not to tell people. And I told you guys today, and you seem to like it. So that was encouraging. But yeah, I'm gonna be ready on Monday, and in fact the entire Mac Stories team is gonna be ready on Monday. We are still debating this, so I may be swayed otherwise, but we are going to have other reviews, and they're all gonna be ready on Monday. In theory, we're gonna have macOS, watchOS, and visionOS. We are debating whether they should go out on the same day, but I'm more leaning toward spacing them out during the week.
Absolutely space them out.
Yeah. Because, again, this will make sense on Monday. I think it makes more sense to put the spotlight on iOS and iPadOS, and that review in particular, not because it's mine, but because of all the other things related to that. So yeah, but it's going to be a big week on the site. And it's just... I'm a little bit tired because these final days, making sure to read everything at night, adding the last minute changes from the iOS 18 release candidate, all those things. But I'll get there, and I'm feeling quite happy about my work-life balance this year.
Good.
So yeah, I'm excited.
I can't wait to start reading it. I'm really excited to start reading it. But yeah, I think spreading them out is better for everyone. It's better for all of you guys because you can focus on staggering your edits and your publishing.
Yeah.
And it's better for your readers because there's zero reason to get 5 reviews on one day, right? Like no one is going to be able to read that. No. Like that's just not feasible.
Yeah.
And I think it will be also better for the website. I just think, you guys, I don't know. I wouldn't know how you would stagger them. Like it seems complicated, but I think staggering them makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Federico, you had this really interesting post on Threads about your feelings about the Pro phone. We're going to get into all the news in a minute, but what's going on over there?
Yeah, so the basic idea is that I'm fascinated by the iPhone 16 non-Pro line. I had this feeling during the event, and I was texting you guys. I think I'm actually more interested in the iPhone 16 than the iPhone 16 Pro, because a lot of the demo of the iPhone 16 Pro, those features, they really focused on professional photographers and professional video creators, like movie directors, with all those features that they showed. And because the camera control button is also available on the iPhone 16, I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not necessarily a pro anymore. And a funny coincidence, just as I was having these thoughts, Brandon, my co-host on the MPC podcast, was also having these thoughts and approached me after the event saying, hey, I wrote a thing about like these thoughts that I'm having about the fact that maybe I'm not a pro iPhone user anymore. And I was like, great, we should put this on Mac Stories, because I've been having the same questions for the past few hours. And so I also started thinking, I actually considered, like, for real, maybe I'm not going to get a Pro Max. Maybe I'm just going to get an iPhone 16 Plus. Because there's also the angle of, maybe it would be good for me to be, well, you guys know I've always been a man of the people, obviously.
Obviously.
Listeners of the show know me as a man of the people.
They know you that way.
Yeah.
Relatable.
I am the representative,
Yeah, very
they look up
relatable.
to me. They know that I'm one of them.
How many
Well,
handheld
just-
gaming PCs do you have on your desk right now, just out of interest? Because I know that like relates you to
On my
to the
desk,
people.
joke's on you. On my desk, 0.
Oh, that you
What
know
about
what,
on the-
Federico? Joke is on me. Yes.
Yeah.
What about
Yes,
the lighted
yes.
shelves above your desk?
Yeah.
Stephen,
Yes.
stop it. I am a man of the people.
Why are you trying to?
I'm a man
take
of
him
the
away
people from the
people?
90s. You know, I'm swimming in performance
Right.
over here.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So
right, right.
but seriously, I thought, well, it would be interesting to try and use a model of an iPhone that lots of people are going to buy. But obviously, before making such decision, I wanted to test the waters a little bit. So I posted on Threads that there is a way to sort of fake your way into checking whether a non-pro iPhone, after many years of pro iPhone, could be good for you. So what I did was I disabled ProMotion. You can do this in accessibility settings. You just limit the frame rate of an iPhone. And that's gonna kick it down to 60 hertz instead of 120 hertz.
Steven,
And
you do this, don't you?
Steven does this. I
Yeah,
think.
I've had ProMotion off the whole time.
Yeah. And I also turned off the always on display, which is also something you can do in display and brightness in settings. Now, let me tell you guys, I lasted about an hour.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it because at the very least, I no longer have any doubts. I depend on ProMotion and the always on display a lot more than I initially thought. Like
Yeah.
I thought, well, yeah, I'm gonna be fine, with 60 hertz and no always on display. I never used them really. Turns out that going back to 60 hertz was kind of
Rough.
making me motion sick. Like it's like people have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Everything
problem.
was so slow. Like it's not just the animations, like the fluidity of the display. Just like using iOS was slower. Like just every gesture, every animation, every transition was slower. And I was so bothered also by not being able to see the time and my notifications, not even the widgets, but the notifications and the live activities. Man, it was killing me. So I lasted about an hour. And at the very least, now I know. I don't have that lingering doubt in my mind. I'm a pro iPhone person and it's fine. I tried. And so that's why I am going to stick with the 16 Pro Max. I'm debating on the color. I'm glad I did this experiment. I think this year, much more than in previous years, the 16 and the 16 Plus are going to be great phones for a lot of people, especially
the
if
colors, man.
the colors are incredible.
Colors. My God, they're so good.
That ultramarine, oof, that's
All of them. Like seriously, what the three?
pink?
The pink,
Yeah.
the pink, the teal, and the ultramarine. But yeah, the ultramarine is like, wow, that is a good looking phone.
Yeah. So I'm glad I did this trial, even though it was very brief. But now I know, and the people will understand. I am still a man of the people. But
Oh, okay.
the way that this works is that to be a man of the people, you have to be, I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not.
The wheels really fell off of that one. I'll just jump in and say Apple should not be selling a phone with a 60 hertz screen at this point.
Should go
Like
at
that
least to
phone
90.
should be 90. That should
Yeah.
be 90. Like 100. I mean, honestly, I think it should be 120. But if they're not going to do that, like this phone should be 90 hertz. Like it should offer that. It's an $800 smartphone. Like that. That's just not good anymore. Like I think a 60 hertz screen is just we're past
rough,
that
man.
at this
Yeah.
point. We've passed that
Yeah.
at this point.
It is September. That means it is St. Jude time around these parts. Mike, tell us a little bit about what we're doing.
So every September, we come together as a community during the month of September because of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. The Relay community is coming out in full force again as we are raising money for the kids of St. Jude. We've, as of today, incredibly, passed $300,000 raised for the kids of St. Jude just in this year, which has put us significantly over the $3 million now that we have raised as a community since we started this 5 years ago. And we do this for a very simple reason. Like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is an incredible place that makes the families and the children who are affected by cancer and other life-threatening diseases, it makes their lives better. It saves lives. And also because they are a research institution as well as a hospital, they are able to use the information and what the research that they get from treating these sick kids, and they share that with the world. And the best part of St. Jude, and one of the key reasons why we come together to raise money for them every year, is because they make no family pay for anything. You do not pay for bills. You do not pay for food. You do not pay for housing. They provide those things for you if you need them. And something that we got to see when we were on campus last year, well, we got to see the outside of it. There's a very special building called Family Commons, which is a 45,000 square foot space that has been built on campus just for families. Because one of the things that St. Jude knows is important is that having the space to be a kid, not just a patient, is incredibly, incredibly important. Like, Stephen, I know that you had a little bit to do with that, right? You had a little bit to play. Like, I think Mary did, right?
Mary did. Yeah, my much cooler spouse. Yeah, I mean, this has been, Family Commons was a big deal to take part of the hospital and make it not part of a hospital. And so there's creator space, art space. And she was on a small commission to help shape that from a parent perspective, because our son is a survivor. He was a St. Jude patient as a baby. But Mike, I do have a correction for you.
Oh, did I say something wrong?
If you go to stjude.org/relay, you will see we are now at $407,000 raised.
Okay, then. Well,
400.
Did I misplace $100,000? What happened?
Yeah. It has been an incredible day for fundraising. We've had two really
We've raised
large
over
gifts.
$200,000
today. It's awesome. And here's what's so cool about St. Jude. I mean, amongst all the other things that you mentioned, is that it is something that we can all be a part of. You know, we've had a couple of really large gifts today, and that is so incredible and humbling, like very exciting. But people from all around the world support St. Jude, and it takes all of us to keep its doors open, because this work is really expensive and they give it away. They've never charged me a dime for my son's treatment, and he has been there since he was 6 months of age. He's getting ready to be 16. I've never gotten a bill for food, never gotten a bill for his care. If we had to travel, St. Jude happens to be my hometown, but if we had to travel, I would not be charged for that. It's absolutely, absolutely incredible. And it's all thanks to you.
So, 2 anonymous gifts of $100,000 in one day is an incredible thing to occur, right? And that is not lost on us, that there are people in our community. These are people in our community who are deciding that they want to give that amount of money to support this cause. That is a truly unbelievable and inspiring thing. But the thing that we hear consistently from our partners at St. Jude that makes our campaign so important is the amount of people that donate to get to the money that we get to. Like, there are so many thousands of listeners who have made donations of all sizes to this campaign. And that means there are more thousands of people who are aware and are getting on board with the message. Like, it's so important. Whether you are able to donate $5 or $50,000, it doesn't matter. That money is all going into the funds that are needed to save these children's lives and to save the lives of countless children in the future. Like, that is why we do this. One of the things that a lot of campaigns have, like a lot of the campaigns that we see and that everybody will see, that other content creators put together, they have very large corporate donors. We don't have that. Like, we get to this money because of the generosity of our audience. We're very lucky, I think, that there are a number of people in our audience who are able to give 4, 5, 6-figure donations. It's an incredible thing that makes our community push further. It's why we're able to have raised $3 million in 5 years. But these large donations, they are on a foundation of donations that are $50, $100, $200. So whatever you have to give, please go to stjude.org/relay, because literally every single dollar counts in fighting childhood cancer. Like, it absolutely does. Every single donation of every size makes a massive, massive impact. And we are so grateful that you join with us on this cause every year.
Man, what a day.
Yeah. Go to stjude.org/relay. You can find out more about donating. You can find out more about the podcast-a-thon, which is coming next Friday. There's so much incredible stuff going on. You know, if you make donations, there are rewards that you can get. We have incredible stickers. We have incredible wallpapers, incredible screensaver from James Thompson. If you sign up to become a fundraiser, there's even more stuff available to you there. We're so thankful for the support that you will give.
This episode of Connected is made possible by our friends at Ecamm. Ecamm Live is the leading video production and live streaming studio built for macOS. Ecamm does all aspects of video, not just live streaming, so it's perfect for simplifying a bunch of your workflows. It's easy enough to get started with quickly, but powerful enough that you can create just about anything with video. You can do it all in the Ecamm app. And that is what really impresses me. Just the breadth of tools Ecamm has is really unparalleled. So whether you're streaming, recording, podcasting, or presenting, everything you need is there in Ecamm, including support for multiple cameras and screen sharing, and a live camera switcher that lets you direct the show in real time. Stand up from the crowd with high-quality video. Add logos, titles, lower thirds, graphics, share your screen, drop in video clips, bring on interview guests, use a green screen, and so much more. Ecamm Live does it all. And some super exciting news. Ecamm for Zoom is now available for everyone on the pro level plan. So you can automatically send Ecamm Live's audio and video output into a Zoom meeting, Zoom webinar, or Zoom event, and add up to 8 Zoom participants as camera sources in your broadcast or recording. It is really powerful stuff. Plus, you can automatically create individual participant audio and video recordings, and even add Zoom chat messages to your broadcast or recording as text overlays. Ecamm's members are entrepreneurs, marketing professionals, podcasters, educators, musicians, church leaders, bloggers, and content creators of all kinds. Get 1 month for free by going to ecamm.com/connected and using the code CONNECTED at checkout. That's Ecamm, ECAMM, ecamm.com/connected for 1 month free of Ecamm Live. Go there now and check it out. Our thanks to Ecamm for their support of the show. The Rickies is a game Connected hosts play before Apple keynotes and the beginning of a new year, trying to predict future events. It is made up of 3 rounds. Each host makes 2 regular picks followed by a risky pick. There are 2 types of Rickies. Today we are playing the Keynote Rickies. The Keynote Rickies winner is named the Keynote Chairman. This position is held until the next keynote. Hosts should be introduced at the top of each episode according to their current titles. In the event that a host has both positions, they shall be introduced as the Ricky Benchman. If Mike wins today, he'll be the Ricky Benchman. First ever. First annual Ricky Benchman.
Let's go.
After the Rickies, the hosts then play a game called the Flexies. These 2 games are separate but related. Please stand for the reading of the rules. Each host gets to make 2 regular picks. Hosts can be granted a bonus regular pick for any previously incorrect pick that has now come true from the last 3 corresponding games. A previously incorrect pick may be used only once. Correct regular picks are awarded 1 point. The language used for regular picks must be finalized and agreed upon during recording, and no partial points may be awarded. Risky picks have a more complex scoring system. Each host must make a pick comprising of 3 conditions. If you get all 3 conditions correct, you earn 2 points. If you get 2 conditions correct, you earn 1 point. And if you get 1 condition correct, you get 0 points. If you get all 3 wrong, you lose a point. Think about that. Picks must have been approved as risky by the other two hosts before the start of the game. Picks made for Keynote Rookies cannot be reused by the host who made them for the next keynote. For Keynote Rookies, the scoring window starts when the live stream begins and closes when the picks are scored. Just right now. Any information used in scoring must be publicly verifiable at the time of recording. All hosts are allowed to reuse picks previously made by others. Scoring is completed during recording and cannot be modified once an episode is complete. In the event of a tie, dice by pcalc must be used in relay mode to pick a winner. In the case of a three-way tie, hosts all make their calls at the same time, with flipping continuing until a winner is named.
That
Jason
feels new to
Snell-
me. I don't remember that rule.
Yeah. We're going to keep flipping coins until morale improves. Jason Snell has a lifetime ban on flipping any coins in relation to the rookies. Coin flips by Jason on other podcasts are allowed, but are frowned upon and subject to public shaming. The order of the picks is set by previous performance. The winner of the previous associated game goes first. That was me this time. The previous loser goes last. Winners will be recognized during the closing ceremonies. As a reminder, Mike is the current annual chairman. I am the current keynote chairman. Past results can be seen at rookies.co and rookies.net. These sites also have pages about managing your own scorekeeping at home. You may be seated. So, I think we start at the beginning. I think we start with round one.
It's a good place to start.
I think so. I said the iPhone 16 Pro gains 5x zoom. Are we doing the bell thing?
Well, we can do the bell, but I
can't
don't
tell if
want to
it's-
hum.
People don't like the humming.
No. So we can do the bell, but you have to change Zoom settings to do the bell. So
that-
what I think you should just do now is just say ding. I think that is a better way to just do it.
Okay. Let me try that again
You
then.
get the
Okay.
essence of a bell.
You get the
The
full
Yeah.
the full experience. I said the iPhone 16 Pro gains a 5x zoom. Ding!
That's a perfect
Mhm.
bell. Great bell.
Nice.
Yeah, it did. I'm happy that this happened.
I feel like this radically shifts the relationship between these two phones.
Well, I mean, I think that's the story. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, right? Federico mentioned it earlier with the camera control, which is that is going to take some time to bed in that phrase rather than capture button.
Mm.
Oh, I know.
Just in general, this year, the entire lineup is closer to each other than normal. And I think that's probably good. So people can just make their own decisions based on what will be the smaller differences between all the phones. But yeah, the two Pro phones getting closer together again. I think what it does show is the reason that the 5x zoom was just on the Pro Max last year was purely space, and it wasn't an indication that they were trying to split them apart again, because we'd had that, right? And then they came together and both sizes were kind of the same for a while. And then the 5x zoom was a change that we hadn't seen in a bit. And so, but I think that it was purely because it was an engineering challenge that they wanted to wait another year to try and squeeze it all in to the Pro. So it's cool though.
Yeah. Yeah, good pick. Are
Thank
you
you.
going to buy one, Steven? Are you going to get a 16 Pro or Pro Max?
Well, we have a whole section about that later in the outline
Okay.
called
Keep-
What
There's
Are We
a lot of
Buying?
foreshadowing in today's episode. Just a very foreshadowing focused
It
episode.
is.
Okay, so my round one pick, I said all the iPhones announced support Apple Intelligence. Ding!
Wait,
Yes.
Are you the bell?
Am I the bell? Aren't we all?
I think you can bell
Each-
yourself.
I think you
I-
should bell yourself,
I
Yeah.
think we're all like each respective bell, you know?
but don't bell too much because you might go blind.
Yeah, sure. All the iPhones support Apple Intelligence. We knew this. Well, we thought we knew this, and it was correct. All the iPhones have the A18 as a baseline, and of course, the Pro models have the A18 Pro. Apple wants to get Apple Intelligence in the hands of as many people as possible. So I would expect going forward, all new Apple devices will support Apple Intelligence. But in this case, the 16 and the 16 Plus, they will. And I mean, not that I'm going to take advantage of it because I'm in Europe, but it will become available for people in the US next month. So
I still think you'll get it one day. I don't. I just it will happen. Europe will get it. Whether you will use it is a different conversation. But I think that I think it is in Apple's interest, right? Like they will want to do this, but I don't know how long it's going to take.
Oh, now don't you know that they should exit the European market? Didn't you know that was the
I know
theory?
it's something people say. I don't think I agree with the sentiment. Stephen made a point in his blog post that I thought was interesting, and I know I felt the same, which like when they were talking about the Pro chip, it kind of felt like they were gearing up to say something that these phones would have that was different in Apple Intelligence, but that didn't seem to come to pass. That like it seems like, at least for now, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, that all of the Apple Intelligence features are for all phones. Now, there are machine learning powered features which are just on the Pro. Like, I think the photographic styles counts, right? Like, the photographic styles requires the Pro chip, I think? Maybe? I don't know anymore. But
it's confusing. They were not clear about these things.
yes, there aren't any Apple Intelligence features that appear to be just for the Pro phone, which it does not surprise really because they haven't got a lot yet.
Yeah.
But that will change, I'm sure, but at least it hasn't now.
Maybe the like generated text will be better written on a Pro phone. And like there'll be some typos in the non-Pro phone.
I mean, there is a possibility that things will be faster and or better on the different chips.
I think it'll definitely be faster, but they didn't even really talk about that. It really felt like they were teeing something up and just didn't deliver.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of chips, Mike.
Yeah, Apple introduces a faster chip for the iPhone. Ding! They did it for all of them. They have an A18 and an A18 Pro. I wonder if this is what it is now. The chip stuff has gotten complicated with them.
Yeah.
In the last few years, like especially all the 3nm stuff. Like these are 3nm, but they're different to the previous 3nm chips, right? Like because I think this is the M4 architecture. Stephen, is that correct? Like it is the same architecture as on the M4.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
I think we'll know once these phones are in the hands of people who have
benchmarked them and stuff.
Yeah, but it seems like the M3 and the A17 Pro were on the first 3nm process, and it basically seems like that 3nm process was a bit of a dead end and wasn't like the long-term game plan for 3nm. And so it seems like this is that evolved process that the M4 is on. I would assume they want to get there as quickly as possible. And, we haven't seen the high-end M3 chips. It seems like they're going to skip over the Max and Ultra at the top of the line, or the Ultra, I guess, at the top of the line. So definitely a bit of a weird moment in chipland, I think. But exciting. I mean, their foot is on the gas, definitely.
Yeah, I will say it is getting harder to track these chips over time because like 2 to 3 times a year we're taking a visit to the chip lab and they're talking to us about performance cores, efficiency cores, neural engine, and like I have gotten to the point where they could tell me the same thing each time and I wouldn't know anymore. Like it has got, because at first, like the first year or two, they were very big gains and it was all new and interesting, right? Like, but now, like it is incredible that they are on an annual basis producing more powerful chips, but the returns are getting smaller and the architecture is like on the face of it to someone like me, it seems similar-ish, right? And I hear different configurations of performance cores and efficiency cores on different machines. Like I think I've kind of gotten to the point where like the time spent in the chip lab is becoming complicated and confusing, especially because, and I understand why they do it because it's marketing, like the comparisons Apple make aren't always the ones you think they're going to make, right? Where they're like, this is 4 times faster than like a different phone to the one you think we're going to talk about right now. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand why they do that. It makes perfect sense. They shouldn't, and I follow the idea of like, year-over-year comparisons are unrealistic to the majority of people that they're talking to anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that, but this is just, like, building this case of, like, the time spent in the chip lab for me now is becoming just of interest, but I don't really feel like I can do anything with the information that I receive from that personally.
I do wonder if there's, I said this on NPU, like, it's hard to draw lines from as few dots as we have. Like, we had this period where the non-pro phone had an old chip in it. And now we have this where it's like a normal version and a pro version. They're probably just bend versions of the same chip, if I had to guess, or, tweaked versions of the same chip. And like, is this now, like what you said, is this now the pattern going forward? I tend to think that it is because of Apple Intelligence. Like, if you look at the 15 range, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus don't run Apple Intelligence because they had a year-old chip a year ago, right? And that causes all sorts of weirdness with that phone. Like, I think that's a blemish on the iPhone 15's record historically. Like, only the Pro ones got this new feature. And so maybe they're going to be more conservative in terms of like future-proofing. Maybe they just need the horsepower for the AI stuff. Whatever happened, it seems clear at least that the road they were on had to change because of Apple Intelligence, and the 15 kind of lost out because of that. It's just really interesting. We have another player here this week.
The screen on the iPhone 16 Pro Max will increase to at least 6.9 inches.
Indeed, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Strong start for the robot.
It actually is. I think it's pretty strong. Like, it nailed it. This 6.9 inches is the size of the screen. Big screen. Both big screens now.
Big screen.
Big screen. Was it 6.3 and 6.9? Like, the small phone is not small anymore. Then both phones got bigger and heavier. What do you guys think about that? Bigger, heavier, bigger screens?
What do I think? I mean, I still want the biggest screen possible, so it'll have to work somehow,
Is there a point though? Do you? It's hard to say because we haven't used it, right? But like, I've got to think that 6.9 we're getting to the point now, like where it's like
we
might be past it now. We may have actually passed it, where that big phone is maybe hit the comfort limit for the vast, like, has exceeded the comfort limit for the vast majority of people that would use it.
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
I had a word come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Remember phablet? Like,
oh yeah.
And how big remember how big the 6 Plus seemed? And Mike was right about the size. This phone dwarfs that phone. Like, it is next. I mean, we've been creeping up, but this one seems next level.
Yep. I mean, it's always a fun thing, but like, the iPhone 6 Plus's screen was 5.5 inches. Like, that was the screen size. I looked this up the other day, but the iPhone 12 mini was 5.4. Like, that's the world we're in, But of course, the dimensions of the phone is what made it bigger, because it wasn't edge-to-edge screen back then, was it? But what I am actually interested in, if I take a look at the physical sizes, right? Like, yeah, so the 6 Plus was 158 millimeters in height and 77 millimeters wide. The iPhone 16 is 147 millimeters high and 71 millimeters wide. So the Plus was only like 11 millimeters taller and 7 millimeters wider than the current standard smallest phone in the new lineup.
That's wild.
That's crazy, right? That's
yeah.
I don't know. I spoke about it. I'm thinking about the smaller phone, and the fact that this one went to 6.3, it's like, I think the smaller phone is now big enough for most people. I've actually heard from quite a few listeners who are like, I was thinking about this too. So that's just the world that we're in. So good work, ChatGPT. At the end of round 1, we all have 1 point.
Here we go. Round 2.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone 16 and 16 Pro are larger than their predecessors.
Oh, Steven.
You messed up, didn't you?
I blew it.
Yep.
So here's Mike. You texted me the other night and said, "Hey, what happened with this pick?" What I swore I had in the document was 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, but I didn't have that. I said 16 and 16 Pro, and as it is written, so let it be written, so let it be picked, and so I get it wrong.
Why didn't we say anything?
This is
'Cause you were sabotaging
what is that called? The Berenstein Bears. What is that called? That effect. Like when Mandela effect. We Mandela affected this, I think, or something like that. Because I am convinced that when you said it, we were all sure that you said, and like what we all thought you were talking about, the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max. Like I think that was the conversation we were all having, but it was not the pick that you gave, which rough.
Yeah. So I think the strategy makes a lot of sense. I think the Pro phones, both being a little bit bigger than the normal ones, is good and helps distinguish them in the Apple store, right? Or the AT&T store, wherever you go buy your phones. So I think it's good. I'm sad I missed the point, but I am a man of the people, and men of the people play by the rules. And who am I, David Grohl?
Why are you trying to steal my thing now? I don't like it.
It's like you just created this new thing and you already won it.
I'm sorry, Steven.
Thank you.
My round 2 pick was Apple debuts a new AirPods model. Ding. Yes.
Yeah.
Not just one, in fact. 2 models.
Three.
Well, 3. Well,
2.5.
Kind of 3. But yeah, the AirPods 4, I am so excited because they did the thing that I was hoping for. Mike told me it was never going to happen.
That's not what I said. That's actually not what I said.
It is literally what you said.
No, I said I didn't think it was possible, and I still am very intrigued by this because it's the noise cancellation we're talking about here, right? That's what we're talking about. Like that, the AirPods 4 with noise cancellation, which is bad product name in my opinion, it is a pair of AirPods with noise cancellation that does not have a silicone tip. Now, friend of the show, Chance Miller, wrote an article on 9to5Mac, and it's saying that the AirPods Pro noise cancellation is Apple defines as 2 times more, so it's half. But what does that mean? Like, I don't know how to equate like half.
Like if I turn on my Dyson vacuum at medium, it cancels that. But if I turn it to boost mode, it doesn't. Like, is that like what is 2x?
I guess it's
2x what?
The effectiveness, right? The amount.
Yeah, but we need a unit of measurement. What's the unit for noise cancellation? How do you measure that? Like,
let's say it's
cancellation per second, CPS or something like that.
2 cancellations per second. And this one does 1 cancellation per second.
Is that how it works? I don't.
Okay.
I think that's how it works. But like, look, this is kind of what I was thinking about. But I am very impressed by this because I just figured you couldn't do it without making a seal. And clearly, Apple have found a way to do it where they think it's good enough. But I think my expectation is if somebody moves to these, they will realize it's not as good. But maybe that won't matter to you. Like at the same time, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's like I'm good with half. So.
I had people in real life text me just wanting to confirm, like, hey, I read that the new AirPods 4, they do noise cancellation without the tips. Is that correct? And I had to tell at least 2 people this morning, yes, and they immediately pre-ordered the AirPods 4. Both of them were on the AirPods 2 generation. So yeah, I think these are going to be extremely popular. And this is something, we spoke about this last week. Not using the in-ear tips all the time is something that I realized with time is better for me. And so I was really hoping that Apple was going to do this. They are going to do this. Even if it's just 1x cancellation instead of 2x cancellation, whatever, I'm fine. I'm never going to use it most of the time. And for those times when I need it, I will not regret not having the AirPods Pro. So excellent news all around. Also happens to be a point for me.
I can't wait to hear what you think about these. Like, I'm really intrigued about it. And so, Steve, remind me, what AirPods do you use?
So I'm using the AirPods Pro 2. even
Oh.
though I don't really like the tips. I've come to like the other features, and so I've stuck with them. But the AirPods 4 with noise cancellation is like definitely something I'm interested in. I haven't pre-ordered them, but I'm very curious how those reviews are going to go, because after a while, especially if I'm like exercising or like sweaty, the tips are really uncomfortable. And for me, at least, just my own ears, my own personal experience. And so these could be the ones for me. And I also like how tiny the case appears to be. Like just small and compact. These are very interesting to me. And yeah, I want to know how they go. I want to know what people think about them, because these could be my next.
My second round pick, a button is introduced to an iPhone that directly lets you capture photos. Ding. Camera control.
Camera control.
So much more complicated than we would have expected it to be. It is a button that physically moves. It is a button that physically moves and has a taptic motor in it. So you can do fake clicks and real clicks, which is how they get the two-stage click, which is really interesting. And it also swipes and also destroys phone cases. Let's talk about phone cases.
The way I've been thinking about the camera control is that the camera control is the dynamic island of camera buttons. Like, it's way more than we were expecting it to be.
Yeah.
It's not just like, it's mostly about the software when you think about it, not necessarily the hardware, which is fascinating.
Like, this is a phrase which I think people apply negatively, but I don't mean it, is that like the dynamic island, it is over-engineered. Like, there is significantly more engineering that appears to have gone into this thing than was necessary to make people happy, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think it will make people more happy. It'll make me more happy. I love the idea of being able to hold my phone in the way to take a camera and like swipe around and click and like pop and all this kind of stuff. I think it's great. I can swipe between modes. We'll be able to zoom in. Weirdly, I heard this in MKBHD's video and I had to check, but like the thing where you can light press to focus is not coming at launch. That's coming later, which is really strange. Like via a software update. So like all the other features work, but the idea of being able to like light press and it focus on someone and then you take the photo, that is coming later on this year. Odd. But also there is like this is a very cool feature. I like the look of it a lot, and it does a lot going on. But let's talk about phone cases. These phone cases are a disaster now, right? I've been getting a lot of Instagram ads for phone cases because I've been looking at phone cases because I'm just like intrigued about what's happening. So I'm very aware of the landscape right now. And basically, unless you're Apple, everybody is doing some kind of bad cutout. And I'm really intrigued to how it's actually going to work, because some cases are just cutting a big chunk out of the side, right? So like you've all seen these cases before, like where they kind of would go around the buttons rather than making buttons, like take a big chunk out.
Yeah.
And some phone cases are just doing a cutout of the little pill shape of the button.
That's what my beloved Peak Design case is doing.
And I don't know if that's going to work, because you gotta reach down you gotta push down physically inside of the cutout that they've made and like swipe around it, and like I don't know how that's gonna work. Like I think it's interesting. In Apple's cases, they have a little piece of sapphire in them, and like that's gonna be the way to do it. Ultimately, I think everyone's gonna need to try and find a way to make that work. So like you have a little pass-through piece that's conductive. But I think if you thought the action button was a problem last year, this is going to be way more of a problem this year.
Yeah. Did y'all see that Beats have some cases?
I did see that.
So I've got a Beats case in my saved iPhone order, because I want a case at least for part of the time that supports all this stuff. And then maybe the Peak Design case, that's kind of weird, and I only use that for when I need the little clip thing for my bike riding. So I will report back on the Beats case in a couple weeks, because I'm very curious to see what they're doing there.
Do you know, I had a conspiracy theory about this one, which I did some work on and was able to disprove. Would you like to hear my conspiracy theory? I think it's pretty good. Even though I can tell you it's not
I will
accurate.
say, Mike, most of the time when people spread a conspiracy theory, they don't debunk it in the intro.
Because I know it's not correct.
Okay.
That's why. So like, it seems
That's
that
weird.
seems irresponsible.
You'd be really bad at Twitter.
And politics maybe. But anyway, so Apple have their cases, which are silicone, no fine woven cases, and they have their Beats cases, which are a hard shell plastic. It is a poly something. It's in here somewhere. I will find it.
Polycarbonate.
It's polycarbonate. So my first thought was, why are there Beats cases? Like, why are there Beats cases? And then second thought was, well, these Beats cases are made out of a different material. And so then I thought, is this material worse for the environment? And does Beats count in Apple 2030? And so this is my thinking. It was like, and are they creating a second case option made of a different material and calling it Beats? So they can which is worse, and this material is worse for the environment, but they can kind of be like, it's not Apple, it's Beats. But Beats does count in Apple 2030. So it's not for that. I don't know why they're doing it, but my conspiracy theory is not accurate.
That makes me think of something now.
Okay.
Is FileMaker carbon neutral?
There's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find out. Steven, get on the phone. we need to talk to FileMaker. I just can't work out why these are Beats. I don't know why this happened. Like, why are these not just Apple cases? Like, why are they Beats cases? It's very interesting to me because they're not outwardly branded as Beats. They're like, the branding of Beats is on the inside. But these are the only two case options that I've found that obviously have what's needed to make the camera control work exactly as you would want it to. There is the clear case and the silicone case from Apple, and then the Beats case. Interestingly, the companies that they have partnered with, right, Otterbox and I think there's one more, have produced cases, but they have the physical cutouts. So even the companies that Apple has partnered with didn't get that information or the technology to be able to make that work. So I'm going to be really interested to see how people like or don't like their phone cases this year. And I'm just going to be out here living my no case life.
What did the robot say?
The iPhone 16 lineup will introduce a new under-display Face ID system, removing the notch or dynamic island.
Uh-huh.
Incredible pick. Did not even nearly come true. Can you imagine though? Can you imagine though if it was right, how we'd feel? Whew, that would be scary. So at the end of that round, Steven has 1 point. Federico has 2 points. I have 2 points, and ChatGPT has 1 point.
Well, at least I'm not any worse than a large language model.
But you're not better.
Wait, just yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, aren't we all just large language models walking around?
That is dark, Steven, even for you.
This episode of Connected is made possible by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. So whether you're just starting out with a new project, or maybe you have a growing brand you need to manage, or maybe one that just needs a little help, you can stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything, products, services, and even content. Squarespace has you covered because they have everything you need all in one place, all on your terms. So you start a completely personalized website with their new guided design system called Squarespace Blueprint. Choose some professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. And then easily launch your website and get discovered quickly with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. You can also integrate flexible payments to make the checkout seamless for your customers with simple and powerful payment tools. Accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay, and in eligible countries, you can offer your customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. And you can Kickstarter update any written content on your website, a product description, or even email with Squarespace AI, generating instant personalized results that know and show your brand identity. Explain what your site is about, choose your tone, and enter what you need to get either short or long form text. So no matter the placement, Squarespace AI makes it easy to go live, stand out, and succeed online. I've been building on Squarespace forever, and I love that all these tools are integrated. They know about each other, they work together, it's a uniform experience, and it is the place to go build a website. So when you're ready, go to squarespace.com/connected. There you can find a free trial, and you'll save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/connected. When you decide to sign up, you get 10% off your first purchase. And to show your support for this, your favorite podcast. Our thanks to Squarespace for their support of Connected and all of Relay. It's time for our risky picks. Here was mine in its entirety. Just let me get through this, okay? The iPad mini is updated with an A17 Pro or higher and a larger, brighter display. It will run Apple Intelligence.
It starts bad and it gets worse.
Yep.
You know? And what's even worse for you is that Tim Cook at the very beginning said, we're going to talk about AirPods, Apple Watch, and iPhone. And so you knew you were pretty much done at that
He
point.
immediately roasted you, you know?
Yeah.
You were never going to win. Sorry, Steven.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you had a Flexi get burned to the ground like 4 seconds in, which is also very funny. But
know.
yeah, many people have said over the years that I have a prophetic ability to predict the future. You remember, I correctly picked Apple to launch Apple Silicon with a desktop Mac. In a dream. A dream told me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying I was a little early. I can't use it again, but we'll see what happens with this pick.
Well, I mean, you can score future picks from it, though, right?
No, okay, we can't do that today, but I don't think I can. I think the way the rules are written, risky picks don't go to the new bonus system. Only regular picks do.
We should change the rules because they should. That's my feeling.
We will deal with that in the future.
We can amend that. We can amend that before the next one, so you'll get it if it works. But I think that is just an issue with the system.
Yeah, I'll make a note to look at that in a.
We may need to make a slight tweak on it, but we'll work it out. There should be some consideration for risky picks. Hey, maybe you get extra risky pick conditions. That you can add to a future risky pick.
No, save it. I put a note.
Just let me say it because
just let him say it. You could just say it. We're not doing it.
I am going to forget.
Yes, we have to say it or we'll forget about it. Yeah.
Or you get the option to remove a condition. So you may get a point more easily if you don't feel it. I don't know. Something like that. Like you can choose.
But then you couldn't get maximum points though, could you? Or because then you're just kind of giving you... Anyway, we'll work this out later on, but there's something there. There's something there. So here's the thing. In reading this pick again, Stephen, I don't think that the Mini's going to get a bigger screen. I really don't think that's going to happen when they do it.
I mean, it's got to look different than the iPhone Pro Max. They get close.
No, because they have different aspect ratios.
It's just a joke about the phone size, Mike.
Okay, sorry. I apologize. I can only apologize for what I've done. But I don't think the screen will get bigger. I think the screen could get better. I think it will get better. I hope it will. But I'd be surprised if they made it any bigger. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
This is heartbreaking for reasons that I will explain shortly. My risky pick, I'm going to read it in its entirety now. The new, quote, capture button supports at least 2 user configurable gestures, will support third-party camera apps in addition to the system camera, will integrate with the Controls API to configure various commands. Unfortunately, only one of these can be verified today and is correct, which is the middle one. Will support third-party camera apps in addition to the system camera. The other two, I want to talk about them.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
The first one, the new button supports at least 2 user configurable gestures. There's a couple of things to say here. we don't know and we can't know right now if that is the case. I watched so many hands-on videos. Nobody bothered to open the settings app and check the options for camera control in settings. As we're recording this, I know that I've looked, Mike has looked, we cannot find the settings pane for camera control. And there's no way to know if the default gestures in the camera app will be customizable for camera control. There's just no way to know. And the thing is, I think even if it's not verifiable right now, I think I will be proven right, maybe even next month, when more camera control options become available. Jason, I have checked the simulator. There's no camera control in the simulator because there's no camera in the simulator. There's just no way to know if that is the case right now. I think I will be proven right as Apple adds more camera control features, maybe even next month, and you will be able to choose what a light press does or what a swipe does. Maybe it's even there right now and people with review units have it right now and know the answer, but that cannot be publicly verifiable because they are under embargo. And the other, which is heartbreaking, this is my fault. I don't get the third point. We'll integrate with the controls API to configure various commands. So this is my fault because I was over specific and there was a way for me to be still specific and maintain the spirit of the pick in my head. The spirit behind it was, and I think I mentioned this on the show, I wanted to say this camera control will use one of the APIs that we have already seen at WWDC, because this is what Apple does. They introduce APIs, they introduce technologies that they are going to reuse with hardware in September. That was the spirit of my pick.
Yeah.
But instead, I just went with picking the controls API. It was always like in my head, there were two APIs that I was thinking of. It was controls API and the other, locked camera capture, that they use on the lock screen, that they use to let you use third-party camera apps like Obscura or Halide to take photos from the lock screen. I picked the controls one because I thought it made more sense to change between the controls. Instead, it's something else, but they did use locked camera capture. So I could have gotten the point if I just said, they will reuse one of the iOS technologies, one of the iOS 18 APIs that they showed off. I could have said it's either going to be controls or locked camera capture. Like, it comes down to the phrasing. And I painted myself in this corner where I said the controls API, and for that reason, I don't get the point.
So, like the API that they're using, the locked camera, they've must have expanded this API, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really interesting that they did that. But I guess it is. So this is why I wonder about the user configurable gestures part too, though, is they are very clearly, I think, making it obvious you can only do camera stuff with this. Like, you cannot do non-camera stuff with it. And so I wonder, what would these gestures even be? Like, to do other camera stuff?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Is there going to be, like, for all we know, it's very possible that there's a setting right now in the review units where you can say, well, instead of holding down for video, hold down for burst. Or something like that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Like, there might be some quick actions that you can set that are different.
Yeah. Like, let me change the assignment of the things with the default gestures. I'm not imagining a scenario in which you're coming up or like design your own gesture, like a triple tap or something. No, I'm saying that for those default gestures, light press, long press, swipe, like maybe you will be able to choose. It's very possible that it's already in there, but there's no way to know. So, lesson learned, I guess.
My pick. Apple mentions RAM or memory in the iPhone. They say it will be at least 8 gigabytes and state it is to power Apple Intelligence. So by my count, I have 2 of these. They mention memory. They talk about system memory and its bandwidth. And they state it is to power Apple Intelligence. They say it needs memory to store large models and bandwidth to access them quickly.
Yeah.
I have also
think it's-
found that Mac rumors say there's 8 gigabytes, but Apple didn't say it. But that's just a little factoid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That one,
sorry.
the verb got you. If you didn't say Apple says it will be at least 8 gigs, you'd have a perfect
Yeah,
score
but
there.
this still isn't it though. Like I thought about that, but this is from digging in Xcode. Like I just don't really think it's verifiable enough. Like in a way for me, even like because what I was thinking is I genuinely thought they were going to publish the amount,
Right.
which I think what Apple has done, and I'm even though I made the pick, I was still very surprised to hear them talking about memory in the iPhone. And they did it in such a way where they were trying to not talk about RAM, right? Like, and also so you never think about it, but they're referencing an increase in memory and what it's for and, all that kind of stuff. So by my count, I got 2 out of my 3, unless anybody disagrees.
No, I think you get it. I think it's valid. Yeah.
It's 1 point for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT said,
Apple introduces a new telephoto lens to the Pro Max. It has 10x zoom. It will feature enhanced low light performance that is branded Night Sight Pro, and it will include a new sensor shift stabilization system.
Sure.
Federico, I spent a lot of time today doing the comparisons to see if any of the sensor shift stabilization had changed, and it hadn't. But I was very excited for a moment because it does reference second generation sensor shift. Like that is a thing that exists, but no phone went from first to second year over year. So the second generation one was around last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
we have a winner.
we do. Mike has 3 points. Federico has 2 points. I am tied with ChatGPT at 0 points.
You're so close, man. Those 200 points are on the line for you for the quizzes.
Oh no, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you were so close. I mean, the question is, do we need to coin flip to find out who lost?
Or
do
does
we
the
just
human
leave
get the
it there?
benefit of the doubt over the large language model?
No.
Why would
no.
that happen?
I've got a coin flip with ChatGPT.
I guess I would. Yeah, that would be quite complicated.
No, Steven. No, ChatGPT loses. Come on, we give it to Steven.
All right, I love
ChatGPT
it.
loses.
Hang on.
The fact that Federico said that tells you it should be good because he is in competition with you.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't.
Here's
win.
the thing. ChatGPT can flip a coin. You can ask it to flip a coin. It will tell you.
Of course you can. Yeah.
What if I just guess, and if I'm right, I win, and if I'm wrong, it wins? Like I'm willing to be fair because we let it play.
If you want to do it, you can do it.
If I lose the ChatGPT, do I lose the points for the podcastathon?
No, you just lose the points in the quizzes, and it's 200 points.
And what's the current Quizzy score?
It's an excellent question. Steven at 540, Federico at 580.
Ooh. Well, there's still a lot of time of the year left. You know what? I'm a man of honor. And how we do things around here is coin flips if we tie. So.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask ChatGPT heads or tails.
And I got to guess it.
No. And I'm going to do the coin flip in Dice by PCalc. And we're going to keep doing this until one of you loses, as is the way that these things go. Right?
Okay.
So we're still abiding by the standard rules.
Yeah.
All right. I need to go to Dice. I was not prepared for this because I didn't think we were going to be doing it. But Steven's getting weirdly confident for a 50-50 gamer chance here against the computer, which is
it's actually kind of against two computers if you think about your iPhone and ChatGPT.
All right. Actually, how do we do this normally? No, we just keep doing it as a knockout, right? We can do it that way. All right. Yeah. Heads or tails, Steven?
Heads.
Heads.
Steven, you win. ChatGPT said tails.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm going to lose to ChatGPT.
Can I just say for a second, though, that we've actually been spending way too much time focusing on the wrong thing? Because I'm the benchman, all right? I'm the benchman. I have consolidated power. I am the inaugural Ricky Benchman.
Congratulations.
It's pretty great, right? For me. I'm gonna change my trophy right now. and put it up with my other trophy because I'm also draft champion. I'm draft champion of Ricky Benchman. I am all powerful.
You've had a good week.
Touch me. I've had a great week.
Good week. Okay.
You know, we have a saying in Italy, Mike. I don't know if there's an equivalent in English, but it goes something like lucky in games, unlucky in love. So if I were you, I would,
Better watch out. Wait, is it you?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that there's an expression.
Are you moving in on my wife? Is that what's happening right now, Federico? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm just saying.
All right,
I'm just saying.
Well, I love this trophy, and I just changed it, and now both circles on my tricky are over London because I'm the Benchman. I will at least get like 3 weeks of being called Ricky Benchman.
Yeah, there's an October event coming, I think.
Unless they do a bunch of press releases because Tim likes me being the Benchman.
Could be.
How many times do you have to say it?
A lot.
A lot, because again, I might have a limited shelf life. So,
Okay.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by 1Password Extended Access Management. Imagine your company's security is like the quad of a college campus. There's nice bricked paths between the buildings. Those are the company-owned devices, IT-approved apps, and managed employee identities. And then there are those paths that people actually use, the shortcuts through the grass that are the actual straightest line from point A to point B. Those are unmanaged devices, shadow IT apps, and non-employee identities like contractors. Now, most security tools only work on those happy brick paths, but a lot of the security problems take place on the shortcuts. 1Password Extended Access Management is the first security solution that brings all of those unmanaged devices, apps, and identities under your control. It ensures that every user credential is strong and protected, every device is known and healthy, and every app is visible. 1Password Extended Access Management simply solves the problems traditional MDM tools can't touch. It's security for the way that we work today, and is now generally available to companies with Okta or Microsoft Entra, and in beta for Google Workspace customers. So go check it out at 1password.com/connected. That's 1password.com/connected. Our thanks to 1Password Extended Access Management for their support of the show. The Flexies is a game held after each edition of the Rickies. It consists of a series of additional picks in relation to the upcoming Apple event or year. Scoring is completed separately from the main game, but like the Rickies, the order of picks is set by the results of the previous game, and ties will be broken by using Dice by Pcalc. Please lie down as the rules are read. Host must make a minimum of 5 Flexi picks. No problems with that this time. Each correct pick is awarded with 1 point. Wrong picks do not remove any points, and no partial points may be awarded. The winner is determined by comparing the percentage of correct Flexis made by each host. The winner can use their own chosen title as long as they are the winner. Federico shall be named Prince Flexi and is known as King Flexi when having won both keynote and annual games. Mike has chosen Duke of Flexington and uses the name Archduke Flexington when applicable. I am the Eternal General Flexi and use the title Secretary of Deflex when necessary. Loser of the Flexis must compensate the winner of the Flexis by donating to a charity of the winner's choice. The amount of the donation is $25 per wrong Flexi made by the loser. The money must be donated on air. Federico is the current winner of the keynote Flexis, and I am the winner of the annual Flexis. So if I win today, I get to be Secretary of the Flex. If someone holds all 4 titles, they are allowed to choose their own nickname. You may be seated.
I am convinced we will do this show long enough that will happen, and I am excited for that possibility. I would also like to give some follow-up because there was something we forgot to do, which was that we would multiply our points scored in the Rickies and add them to our total.
Okay.
So that is 30 points for me and 0 for you. So I am now beating you in Mike versus Steven, 75-45 as we lead in towards the podcast design, so I'm feeling real good.
I'm coming
Justice.
for you. Coming for you, buddy.
Justice for Mike.
Justice for Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got just a whole bunch of flexies here. Federico, you're up first.
All right. Okay. Number 1, there are multiple AirPods models. Yeah, we've been over this, bunch of them.
Yeah.
Number 2, Apple Intelligence features are demoed again. Yeah, this is going to be the next few events or the next few years.
Forever.
Really.
This is forever now, whether we like it or not.
Were y'all surprised that they had new features when they showed the visual lookup stuff?
Which was also my risky pick from WWDC,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
We will look at that later. But yes, actually, I wasn't expecting anything significant this time.
Yeah. Number 3, there is a new AirPods model with noise cancellation. Yes, cannot wait for it. Number 4, heartbreaking. The new iPhone color is called gold titanium. Now it's called desert titanium.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will just mention that if you download the marketing assets from the Apple developer website, the files are called gold titanium.
That's fantastic. That's
I'll just say
fantastic.
this.
And upsetting.
Yeah. And number 5, ChatGPT is mentioned again. Apple just loves ChatGPT for its world expertise and world knowledge, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, the ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro is considerably improved.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm excited about that.
I'm so happy about this. I can't wait to see how it works.
Number 7, at least one of the new iPhones is brighter than before. They're not. They still
Weird.
peak at 2000 nits of peak brightness, same as the 15.
They do actually. They go to one nit now.
They go to 1 nit instead of 2. So actually, they go lower.
Lower. Well, they go lower than 4, which is interesting.
The dimmest iPhone ever.
Yeah.
Dimmest. Number 8, Apple introduces new vegan leather cases. No, they just discontinued fine woven, and that's it. Number 9, the flashlight in the new iPhones is mentioned as being brighter than before. No, it's the same flashlight. You just get the fancy live activity, but there's no other changes. Number 10, no Macs and iPads at this event. That was correct. Number 11, there are new AirPods Max, but they don't fold. Correct. They're still the same, and they're still $550. Incredible.
I would like to report a crime that Apple have committed in the way in which they have updated these headphones. I'm so angry. I'm so mad about this. Like, they just put USB-C on it. They didn't even put the new chip in it. Like, what is going on? Like, I know now I need to get different headphones. Like, I wanted to get new headphones. And so now I guess, I don't know, I'll wait for the next Sonys or whatever. But, like, I just think this is ridiculous. So that's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah.
I'm very upset about it.
Where was I? Number 12. The new iPhone color is called Earth Titanium. They did go with Desert Titanium. And I told you guys today that in Italy, it's called the equivalent of Sand Titanium. It's called Titanio Sabbia. That would be sand, which is a better name. And lastly, Craig Federighi is stranded somewhere. I think this is a point because we got Craig Federighi in the middle of a fancy palace or something.
It's just a Palace of Fine Arts, just on his own. Like,
on
just
his own.
Left out
just there.
Where other people, you can see there are other people, right? Except like when there are like people out in the world. Like, to me, that looked pretty stranded. I'm sure the Palace of Fine Arts is lovely, but I think he looked pretty stranded.
There was some discourse on Threads about how did Apple get to use this space? Like, they just wrote him a giant check and told him to close for the day. Like, it's not hard to understand. Like, it's not like they were dodging tourists trying to film this. I mean,
no, they just did it. I saw a post on Threads of somebody who was in a park where, like, in the park where the AirPods part was, and like there was just these big barriers up and signs, and it had the name of some production company, And like that's how they do it. They just, as you said, they just write a big check. And do you know who probably pretty much like loves Apple is like the San Francisco government. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that they do okay together, and they let them use all these great places.
So this is 8 correct flexes out of 13 for a 61.5 correct ratio.
That's a very good
It's not too
average
bad.
considering how many there were and how we produced half of them, which was in a flurry. Mine are. There is a segment about Apple Intelligence that lasts at least 10 minutes. It went just over. It was like 10 minutes and 3 seconds, something like. It was very close, but I'm going to take that. Apple Watch band attachments will change. They have not changed. The watch is thinner. But they did not change the attachments. So I don't know when they're going to do this, if they're ever going to do this, but they didn't do it this time. Apple does not say AI or artificial intelligence. Tim said it like basically immediately.
Yeah.
But I do still like what I'm saying here. I think is like there's no arguing for the pick, but like in general, they are I think trying to avoid saying it as much as possible. But maybe there is just a scenario where they actually kind of can't get away from it now, even though they would like to. We get a release window for 18.1. Yes, October rather than just future. So it's coming in October. No iPad hardware.
Yeah.
Fine woven cases mysteriously disappear. That they have.
Yes.
They're gone. It's like they never existed in the first place. They still have some products though.
Yeah.
I think
we'll
Stephen, we talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. The iPhone 16 has a better range of colors than the iPhone 16 Pro.
Yes.
Is there anybody that's going to argue with me on this one? No. Vertical lenses on the 16.
Yes.
Apple Watch SE is updated and it's not made of aluminium. No, they
Nope.
didn't update it. But do you know if you go to the site right now, you have to pre-order one?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know.
What is going on there?
I tried to look back and I couldn't find it. I feel like that has happened before when they've had like new bands and like the bands don't come out to the regular new watches come out. So, but
that's it.
but best I
Good
can
one.
tell, it's the same watch.
Yeah, but it's they don't,
It's new
none
combos.
of the bands are available, so they can't sell you a watch. Smart. 11. Tim Cook is surrounded by long grass. Now, what is long? Like one man's short grass is another man's long grass. And like there is a moment where like he's standing on a pathway and there's like some grass, that's
No.
like
No.
longer than cut, No? Okay, cool. 12. The Apple Watch segment is presented in and around a gym. There was no gym at all.
Noticeably absent from the gym, actually.
The only time they were inside, it looked like they were inside of a museum or an
Yeah.
art gallery or something. So no, none of that. And Craig wears a costume for some portion of the event.
Nope. He did have a haircut, though, it looked like.
Yeah, I was going to say, it did look like his hair was shorter, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did look like that.
I wish he'd button more buttons on his shirt.
I wish he'd done more. 7 out of 13. That is 53.8% for me.
Not bad.
I would say not bad.
Not bad. This episode of Connected is brought to you by our friends at Backblaze. Backblaze are the folks looking after your digital data. With their unlimited computer backup for macOS and Windows for just $99 a year, you can protect all your data automatically without even having to think about it. And it's not just for personal use either. Backblaze is also great for businesses, where you can protect the whole team's data through a centrally managed admin console. So it's easy to deploy across multiple workstations with silent and link-based deployment options. And the Enterprise Control add-on includes granular access permissions, advanced single sign-on options, group management controls, and compliance support. You're in safe hands with Backblaze. They really know their stuff. They're recommended by the New York Times, Inc. Magazine, Macworld, PC World, LifeWire, Wired, Tom's Guide, 9to5Mac, and more. I've personally used Backblaze for years, long before they were a sponsor of any of my shows, because I trust them with my data. And I can access that backed up data from anywhere in the world using their website or their iOS or Android app. That's a super handy feature if you're on the road and realize you need a file or realize you've accidentally removed something from your laptop. You can just go log in and get it. Backblaze offers multiple restore options, including rapid recovery via USB hard drives, shipped to you in the event of data loss or ransomware. And of course, you can also restore files from the website or the app. So visit backblaze.com/connected so they know where you came from and continue their support. They've restored over 55 billion files. That is incredible. And don't be that person who forgot to back up your important files. Receive a fully featured no-risk trial at backblaze.com/connected. Go there, have a play around, and start protecting yourself from a data disaster. Our thanks to Backblaze for all of their support. And again, you want to go to backblaze.com/connected. Up next, we have mine. Apple Watch Ultra 3 comes in black.
Once again, bitten by the wording.
Bitten by a weird lack of updates to this product.
What are you thinking, about this black one? Do you like it? Looks good, right?
I think it looks awesome. I would be all about it if they had updated it, but they didn't. And that's, again, we don't have enough dots to draw a line, but it's weird. Like the the Apple Watch Ultra pitched as like the top of the line watch. Now is it not? Now it's not. Like there are a bunch of ways the Apple Watch Series 10 is better. Not in all ways. They were very different from each other in a lot of ways. But it's just like, is now this just like a side product and it's going to get updated every couple of years, which is probably fine. But like it's a little confusing at this point what Apple's up to.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look good. Number 2, macOS Sequoia released with iOS 18. Yep, as you mentioned, everything is coming on Monday. Number 3, Apple Intelligence gains no new features. I felt like that was a lock. I felt they had played all their cards, but turns out they hadn't. iPhone 16 and 16 Pro can run Apple Intelligence. That's correct. Number 5, Fine Woven lives on. So this came up that we had both put in no more fine woven cases, and because you had seniority in the order, I changed mine, and we both got our point. The cases are gone, but fine woven lives on in MagSafe wallets, a couple of watch bands, and the AirTag case, like the keychain holder thing.
I understand the situation that they found themselves in, because leather watch bands, I think, are actually more important than leather phone cases. I don't know what their plan's going to be here moving forward. Because, I was thinking about Apple Watches, thinking about bands. I would take a look at the bands, and I don't like any of the new Ultra bands that they've made. That's the colors. They're just not my colors. But the band that I always loved was the Magnetic Link band, which they still make, but it's made out of the fine woven material. I don't really know how it how it wears in a watch band, but I know it doesn't look what I want it to look like, and I want the look of leather. I have the leather one and I love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do there.
It's again, sort of a transition moment. And like you said, maybe they're going to rely on Beats to do some other weird stuff. Who knows?
Well, they're not, because Beats is in 2030. That's the thing. So if it's an environmental thing, Beats doesn't make a difference.
The new Apple Watch SE costs $199. Well, neither does the old one.
No.
Wrong on multiple accounts.
Wow.
The brown iPhone Pro does not have gold in its name.
Is it brown?
We know what we mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just giving you a hard time.
We know what it means. This is the one I'm the saddest about for some reason. The iPhone Pro comes with color matched cables. I think it'd be so cool. It's so nice on the MacBooks, but not here.
I'm sad about the fact that there's a new MagSafe puck, which is faster.
Just
Why are you sad?
Yeah,
because I don't want to replace all my MagSafes, and now I know my phone could charge faster, but it won't. That's what makes me sad.
Oh, you are going to replace your MagSafe charger?
No, I have too many. I seriously, it's too many, because I have 2 or 3 dock things, and they've each got 2 fast pucks regular pucks in them. I'm not gonna do that. Those things $100 each or something insane. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
The regular Apple Watch models each get larger screens and cases. Yes, I was nervous about this because Apple made no reference to a smaller Apple Watch in the keynote whatsoever.
Unbelievable.
The most mind-blowing thing.
I do not know why they did that. I will never understand that decision. They never showed that there was more than one of them, of the 10. It was very strange. Very, very strange decision to make.
Yeah, really weird. iOS 18.1 announced to ship in October. We see the rainbow stage at Apple Park in the video. We saw it at day and at night, and it looks really cool lit up at night. Go rainbow stage team at Apple. Jeff Williams is seen in nature.
What's nature, really? You know,
What is nature?
what is
though?
nature?
outside.
Is nature a park?
Yes, yeah, he's outside.
Nature,
Mm,
nature outside. I don't think they could. Industrial parks are outside. They're not nature.
He was,
No.
There was rocks and grass and water. He was in nature. Come on.
Is that
Was it?
nature?
No, I don't- all right.
And last, Craig, and this is just the wrong event for this. Craig travels from one set to another in a ridiculous fashion.
I mean, he could have ran. You know what I mean? Like, I would have not been surprised about that, but no, that didn't happen.
Yeah. So that puts me at 8 out of 13, 61.5%, the same as
Can't believe
Federico,
We managed to tie.
with 13 picks.
Do we have a tie mechanism?
Yeah, it's the same. Scoring is completed separate from the game. Order of picks is set by results, and ties will be broken using dice by pcalc.
All right, well, let me do that for you then, so we can decide who's the winner. So, remind me, Stephen, you get something special if you get a special name.
If I win this, then I get to
Secretary
be
of Deflex.
Secretary of Deflex.
Very cool. All right. Do either of you have a preference for picking first?
Yes, I do.
All right. What do you want?
I am going with this vibe. There's both of my dogs looking at me right now, so I'm going with tails.
I like it, Stephen.
I mean, I have to go heads, right?
You don't have to.
Heads.
I mean, but I don't know what benefit it would get you.
Heads.
Oh, he did
Boom!
it. The Secretary of Deflex. Look at that.
I've won 2 coin flips today.
Yeah, look at you. I mean, the first one, you just narrowly beat a robot. The second one, you beat Federico.
Well, it's for the kids. So
Yeah. I mean,
Well, not for you, it isn't.
for Mike it is.
Not for you, it isn't.
So
How
Mike,
much money do I need to donate?
So Mike, it's $25 per wrong donation, or per
Okay.
wrong pick, excuse me. You have 6 wrong picks. So that is a $150 donation.
nice.
And I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Matt, one of our Discord moderators, is doing a community fundraiser. So people can sign up to run their own fundraisers alongside ours. It's a great way to get the St. Jude mission in front of your friends and family and coworkers. But Matt's doing this cool thing where he is building a red wagon, which is part of life at St. Jude. They have these red wagons that you can put your kids and stuff in and pull them around the hospital. It's like just a hallmark of being there. Matt is building us one to use in future podcastathons. And if you go to his page, one of the rewards he has set up is to have your name engraved in the red wagon. And so I think you should do that in honor of me, the winner.
No, that's not what I'm going to do, but I appreciate that. I'm going to do the donation, but it is in honor of Ricky Bench and Mike Hurley. I'm not putting it in honor of
You
your
can't
name.
put yourself.
There is never a rule in which the rule is not that you can make any choice anyway. Isn't it in a donation of the winner's choosing?
But
is that
it's
not
September, you know?
So that's why I'm giving to this incredible
my
cause.
pick is very specific this year. Very
no,
specific.
I'm donating it to myself, but I am how much money was it?
125, right?
125.
6 times 25. 150, excuse me.
150.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing it too in honor of
Yeah, so you got to do it yourself if you want your own name.
Secretary of Deflex.
You know? This is great. All right. Love it.
All right, so both of us will be on the wagon. He's going to get this and be like, what is happening? All right.
150,
Yes.
right? Okay. The donation is happening.
All right. Thank you, Mike. So that just leaves the topic of what are we, if anything, what are we pre-ordering?
Okay. Well, I've already pre-ordered the watch and the AirPods. So AirPods with noise cancellation and Series 10 46. What's it called? Silver? Like regular gray color?
The aluminum?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Really.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah, I mean, obviously, gonna get the 16 Pro Max, 512 maybe. I'm actually debating 256 because I realized I don't even use 100 gigs of storage on my device. I may go for the cheaper model actually. The color is what I'm thinking about. I am leaning white, but
me too.
I may be convinced to buy the. I'm just gonna call it sand titanium, because that's what I see on my Apple Store. But yeah, debating between those two colors.
Okay.
I am doing an iPhone 16 Pro. I have committed. I'm going smaller. I'm doing desert titanium because it looks kind of gold. And I'm going for a terabyte because I'm fast approaching 400 gigabytes now. So I think it's time to move up from 512.
Do you keep your photo library offline?
Yes, that's why.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
explains it.
That's always the thing. Like it's like the answer is always, do you keep your photo library offline? Oh, then you are increasingly getting a bigger phone. But this is the first time I'm going up to a terabyte. I'm struggling with the watch. I'm struggling with the watch a little bit. So I have the Ultra, and they have a gold. They have a gold one. They brought the gold watch back.
Yeah.
It's like titanium gold, which I think looks real nice. And the Apple Watch Series 10 is moving forward, and the Apple Watch Ultra isn't, which is now suggesting to me that is probably the way it's going to be, that like the Ultra will get what it gets, but it's not always going to get the most modern features, right? So that's what I'm going to assume now. But I'm struggling because if I moved from the Ultra 2, I would cut my battery life in half, although... which is one of my favorite thing about the Apple Watch Ultra is its battery life. But it seems like the Series 10 has a new low power mode option, which can extend the battery life up to 36 hours. Now, I know low power mode has existed on the other watches, but on the specs page, it specifically calls out the length of time that it will give your watch. And the other ones don't have that. And then I would miss the modular Ultra face. I like that watch face. And there isn't something that has like a digital clock and 6 circle complications, which is, of course, and the action button, which I love the action button for what I use it for, which is it sets do not disturb for an hour. So if I'm talking to someone, I'm in a conversation and my phone's buzzing off, I can just boop, and then I go on do not disturb for an hour, and I really like that. So I would lose those 3 things, but I would be getting off the train, which I think I'm going to have to get off eventually. Especially like I always thought this would happen whenever they would do like the big watch redesign, which will happen at some point, right? And it's not going to get more than 18 hours of battery life because it seems like Apple is kind of standardized on that now. I like the idea of thinner and lighter. Obviously, the screen is nice and big. For me, I'm not going to order this. I'm going to go try it on because Adina is due for a watch upgrade. She loves her Apple Watch, but she's not. We just want to go try them on. And so I'll probably wait and we'll both do try-ons and I'll make my decision there. But I'm struggling with this one a little bit. But yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to stay put with my Apple Watch Ultra 1. I like the black, but I don't want to go from the 1 to 2. And I mean, I'd skip the 2 on purpose, waiting for the 3. And I am starting to see a bit of hit on battery life. My battery health is at 86%. I noticed that sometimes, like I've actually gotten it into low power mode or like the low power mode warning a couple of times, but I sleep track with it. So I feel like I'm having to manage it a little bit more than I used to, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. I do like the black Apple Watch Ultra bands. So I ordered the Trail Loop in black. I think that looks really nice. And I'm going to pre-order, like Mike, I'm going to go down a size to the iPhone 16 Pro in white. I think the white looks really nice. I've traditionally gone back and forth on iPhone colors, like a light one then a dark one. I had the natural titanium, which I still think is really nice, but I'm going to go white this time. I think it's going to be sweet.
We're going to be small boys together.
Yep. Just regular.
Well, you
Pro
always
boys.
are, because of height and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who needs height when they're the benchman, though? I can stand on the bench.
Sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah,
everyone.
I have the whole
sitting.
army of Flexington behind me, so look out.
Yeah, but we're
And
not
you
even
know what
gonna
I
talk
have?
about that.
The people. I have the people
yes,
with me.
he has
So,
the people behind him.
so
All the people behind him.
who needs a title when you have the people? Well, we're gonna give a bunch of money to Apple. I was just charged for my watch and AirPods today, and pre-orders are in 2 days.
And similarly, as they talk about in A2P, you're going to give a bunch of money to Apple, give a bunch of money to St. Jude, stjude.org/relay. Just go give them some money. If you're paying for Apple products, pay for some childhood cancer research too.
If you want to find links to the stuff we spoke about, head on over to the website or the show notes, relay.fm/connected/518. You can follow us on social media. Federico is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. I promise you're going to want to spend time on Mac Stories next week. And you can follow Federico as he announces all this stuff and talks about it on Threads and Mastodon as Viticci, Viticci. Mike is the host of a bunch of other shows here on Relay. Congrats on your appearance on Upgrade, your dominance really on Upgrade this week.
It's been a good week for me.
Yeah, it's been good. You can follow Mike's work at Cortex Brand and on social media as iMyke, IMYKE. My writing is over on 512pixels.net, and I host Mac Power Users here on Relay as well. You can follow me as ISMH86 on Threads and Mastodon. Please go to stjude.org/relay, learn more about our campaign, donate. If you work for a company, a lot of companies have matching set up where if you give some, they'll give some. There's details about that on the webpage at stjude.org/relay. So look into that if you work for a big company. They probably take part. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for making the show possible. Ecamm, Squarespace, 1Password, Extended Access Management, and Backblaze. And until next time, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.